Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Chad here, CKKNIFEAWNING. I am catching up on a lot of stuff, but one of the things I'm doing is actually I am cleaning up the tent here, the rooftop tent and the awning, because I just got back from a great trip with Lolo Overland as well as Forbidden Off-Road, and we hit Mount Hood and we chilled. Literally, we had a lot of snow. Well, the video you guys probably already saw it, or I'll probably try to leave a link, a little tab or something right here. But we just got back and I had to open up the rooftop tent and the awning to dry everything out, because when I put it away, it was cold. There was a lot of frost and some snow from that previous night and early morning, so you got to pull them out and you got to air them out and everything. But I wanted to do this video real quick while the weather was good and talk more about that insulating liner that I bought here for the Wanaka 3. And I'm also going to tell you right now, before I delve into the weeds, I'm sorry about the lighting there. I haven't, my buddy Tristan kind of gave me a camera 101 class, but I'm still having a hard time multitasking, doing video at the same time of trying to record this to control my lighting. But anyhow, I wanted to touch base. I've probably mentioned a couple of times in previous videos about this insulating liner. This liner is actually, I forgot the company that made it again. I was told by Guana Equipment who made it, but they linked me to a company called offroadtents.com, and it's labeled under Tepui. And the Tepui is pretty much like a lot of the tents. They all have a basic, the skeleton is pretty much the same on a lot of these tents, whether it's the Tepui or if it's a CVT, it's Guana. There's a lot of tents that have the same frame. It's where when you start getting into the details, it's the thickness of the mattresses, it's the type of fabric they use, maybe the color quality and stuff like that. Little bits and pieces here and there, what you get with your purchase versus what you have to buy extra. And that's where I think Guana started to beat the competition, or made some of the other rooftop tent companies kind of say, whoa, hold on here, and kind of, you know, give some other things in there. But anyhow, so the insulating liner I'm talking about, okay, I'm going to bring you up here and I'll show you what this is. There we go. Okay, the lighting's better. Okay, so this lining that you see above me right here, I picked up from offroadtents.com, and it zips up here. Now my Wanaka 3 actually has two sunroofs, two skylights that open, that I can see the stars on both sides. But this only comes with one, and that's because the majority of all your rooftop tents only have one, if any, skylights. Roof, you know, the sunroofs or something like that. But the Wanaka 3, Wanaka 4 has two. So it wasn't made specifically for Wanaka because of that, but it still works. The other thing is as you see here to my left right here, your guys right maybe as you're looking at this, your left too I suppose. Oh, everybody's getting ready to leave the karate. They have zipper walls on either side that open up the windows, and then behind me is the opening that I came in through, and this is the opening that hangs out on the other side of the truck. So you do get a lot of ventilation, and you can get the breezes and everything else. But this has been a lifesaver, and it's been a big game changer for me getting into the fall season here and the cold weather. The first time I experienced it was at the Coyote Works rally, and temperatures were at the lowest, I think were 19 degrees at night. Then we hit Mount Hood recently, and not only were the temperatures in the high 20s, but then we ended up getting snow and a lot of wind. And if it wasn't for this liner, I would have been miserable. Now in the Coyote Works rally, I didn't even have a spare blanket or a buddy heater, anything like that. I only had, Greg and I were in here at the time. You guys may remember Greg from other videos. We only had our sleeping bags and pillows and our thermals, and we layered up. We were wearing sweaters and everything else. It was this insulating liner that we felt really helped keep us at bay. Once we got moving in the morning, once we both sat up and we started to move a little bit and kind of getting some stuff together, getting our jackets on and our hats and putting our shoes on, we were already feeling the chill coming out of the tent just by our bodies, two people being in here. Now, fast forward to this last trip I just got back from with Lolo Overland and Forbidden Off-Road. I had picked up a Tough Buddy, Mr. Buddy Heater, which you guys have probably already seen the video on. And I put it up in here with me, and I would turn that on, and within a couple of minutes, I would shut it off. It was warm in this tent, and it stayed that way for quite a while. The other thing I noticed too, and this was a big thing, is I had some of the people asking me before about, was condensation. You could not feel the cold permeating through the tent here, the insulating liner. You couldn't feel the cold coming through. But when we zipped it open and you touched the liner itself, the tent liner, you could see the crystals, ice crystals and such, and you could feel that cold that was outside. Well, when I left the buddy heater on for a while, and then I shut it off and I came inside a tent, and it was cold and it had been snowing, and I reached inside, I zipped it open, and the liner itself was not wet at all from any type of heat and cold transfer that you would normally expect with things. And I think one of the things that saves this insulating liner from that is the gap that's in between. There's actually an air gap between the tent body, the beige body of the tent, and the insulating liner here. And that's because the insulating liner clips to the poles of the tent inside here, the frame, the skeleton of the rooftop tent. It clips on it, and by doing that, it keeps it away from the actual tent exterior by about an inch or more. And that also helps with airflow, to keep the condensation from building up and to keep the actual liner, insulating liner, from getting wet. Now, I'll try to put it in here if you can see it. When you lay inside here, you can see little tiny pinholes within the insulating liner. Now, that's going to help for breathability, so you're not completely stuffy inside here. But what's really nice about it is that it does not seem to let air pass back out or into the tent. Yes, it does get cold in here if there's no heat. Of course, it's going to be that way. It's no different than if you had a cooler. It's going to be cold in the cooler, or if you leave the cooler outside, it will happen at some point. But when you warm up the rooftop tent with this insulating liner, it does help tremendously. And as I said before, it helps even without the buddy heater. It helps just having two people inside here moving around, that it takes that chill out of the air. And I'm doing this video because of the fact I've experienced now 5 nights in this tent at temperatures at 32 degrees or less. So I am very pleased with it. Now, with that said, this previous trip I just came back from Mount Hood, I not only had the buddy heater, but I had a doubled up sleeping bag, meaning it was just 2 sleeping bags zipped together, but I had grabbed the wool blanket and I covered it. And I was happy. And the guys that were with me, Josh and Tristan, they too were cold. They were turning under heaters and turning them off, and they've got Free Spirit rooftop tents. So they've got a whole different type of built quality and materials and everything, but they too were suffering the same as I was suffering, but yet they were still benefiting the same way I was benefiting. So if you're looking to save money and you're looking at different rooftop tent options, and you opt for a tent like the Wanaka 3 or the Wanaka 4 or the Nosara, check out GuanaEquipment.com, check out their 3 lines of tents. And when you do that, reach out to Guana Equipment or send me a message and say, hey, which insulating liner that Chad was talking about, which one would work good for my tent? So before you buy, you say, hey, I want to buy this tent. Could I get a liner with it? Those guys can let you know that. But what's really nice is if you happen to have a Tepui or a CVT or a 23-0, and there's so many other ones. I think there's, I'm going to forget all the companies. There's like over 30 rooftop tent companies right now. Reach out to them, and I'll leave a link down below for offroadtents.com, their website. Reach out to them and ask them which one of the models of this insulating liner will fit for your tent. Those guys are pretty good. They'll get back to you in a couple of days and let you guys know, and you'll be squared away. If there are any codes at all, I'll leave them down below, as well as all the email links or website links are going to be down there. If you got any questions, reach out to GuanaEquipment.com, reach out to offroadtents.com, or reach out to me, and one of us will probably do whatever we can to answer those questions. Remember, everybody else, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Keep me from the bottom of the YouTube bucket and keep me up in my rooftop tent. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.